when I get to ask people out there, how many of you want to have your own businesses? Maybe 95% of you will say yes. But let me tell you, this is the clincher question. What have you done last week to make that happen? If you're performing on the job and you make sure you earn your keep, what's gonna stop you from doing something on the side? So very important, when you perform and you deliver better than what is expected of you, then you're more than worth the salary they're paying. And in that particular case, they will even support you with what you're doing because, you know, you're providing value to the company. So when you disclose and you perform, there's no problem in having side hustle.
Hey guys, so we're back again with the master CEO of Rampver and Soldivo, Rex Mendoza. Now, we're gonna drill into something a bit personal. A lot of people were asking, you are so good at what you do, you've been earning, pero what did you do when you earned your first million? Did you spend it? Did you invest it? Or was that a motivation for you to earn even more?
Okay, that's a big question, you know. I get to get back at people and ask them, was your target really a number? Was your target to hit your first million? You know, your target has to be something else. I mean, it has to be what the 1 million will give you. Okay? So in that particular case, 1 million is a scoreboard. So when I hit that million, it's almost like, yeah, so the score of that particular game was that. That's it. And beyond that, I now looked at my next million. How will I now move into my third, my 10th, and all that? So clearly, what it does tell you is, you know, there are things that brought you that 1 million. Now, if you go to that second million as a target, what will you do now? Is it going to be the same things, or there are going to be more things that you need to go to and do? So I tell a lot of people, again, the numbers are plain targets. Eventually, you will get to see that those numbers don't mean anything. What's meaningful is what you want out of that capability, what you want out of that net worth that gets you what makes you happy, right? So it can be education for your kids, it can be the nice home for your family. But again, that million doesn't have to stop because it's a number. What do you want? And I'll tell you this is what happens. You target 1 million. Once you get to 1 million, you'll realize, you know, not enough. Then you go for your next million. Then you go for your third. So you change. And then the most important thing is this. It's not how rich you become. It's the person you become. It's very important that the person who has earned this million is very, very different from the person who has earned this third or fifth or 10th million. That person will have more maturity, more experience, more acumen. But please, get out of the rut of saying, oh, I have a million, I cannot spend. I have a million, I can now take 200,000 out of that and enjoy the money. All that will just make you slide, because what you've done is built up capital, and after building up that capital, what you need to do is expand on that capital that you've already built. And that's why this is where you see real entrepreneurs, you know, building up a base rather than spending a base. Because when you spend, you lose the momentum.
Now, I'd like to zero in also, when you start, you said about acumen, you said about skills, you won't earn the first million if you don't also have a set of skills also. And the thing about getting the first million to getting you to 10, 20, 30, 40, it's a different set of skills also from 10, 20, 30, 40, or it could be a separate set of business or investments already as well. So for people who want to expand that base, for people who want to actually earn more or let it fire on all cylinders, what's your advice that you can give them also?
Again, you'll have to look at your opportunities. I always tell people there are many, many ways of expanding your income potential. The worst part about, you know, the common Filipino is this. They start earning income, and usually that's a single source of money. But they have other avenues for expenses. And then they expand the avenues for spending. What they don't realize is what they need to expand is the source of income. You have to have multiple sources of income and keep your avenues of spending to a particular limit. It's the other way around. If you want to be wealthier, if you want to become more abundant, that's what you need to do. Now, people don't do that. People go the other way and like rest on their laurels or begin to enjoy their money too early. So, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing wrong with enjoying it. for as long as you build the momentum to create a bigger base for the future. And as Marvin mentioned, it changes. Why? You have more experience, you have more exposure, you now become more astute. You now get to see which is going to be more successful, which are the stock positions that might be better to invest in, the better companies, and other businesses, direct businesses that you can be part of. You begin to become wiser. You begin to, let's say, know how it is to spot real winners.
Now, you talked about winners. I want to address naman people who started businesses or invested and they lost money, because I've seen a lot of people also who are starting out that then when they did it, the business did not pan out. Some of them also resigned from their job. Parang I hope you can clarify this also. The biggest dream of Filipinos is to quit their job and start the business, only to find out that the business has even a bigger set of headaches than them being employed as well.
Okay, let's start with the first one, the failure, right? For me, we always marvel at these big entrepreneurs, these big business people. We feel, that they've created these empires and they're doing very, very well. Let me assure you, they've had their failures. They've had their failures. Many of us don't even discuss their failures because we easily get to forget about failures because we all talk about the successes, right? But the thing is, everyone goes through all that. I've done my own share, right? But this is what I'm gonna tell you. I call that tuition fee. I call that school. Outside school, real business world, you'll still continue on the school of hard knocks. And these are all learnings that we have to become richer for. I mean, we will have to learn about, lessons and mistakes that we've gone through and build on that to become better, to become, again, more or less vulnerable, more bulletproof, so that you can absorb the losses. Now, to the second question, this is very, very important. Now, how do you now get into many of these things? See, I hear this all the time, Marvin. Take the big leap, the big shift. So from a job to entrepreneurship. Why? Why do you have to do that? You can actually start building side hustles while you have a job. Now, for those people who have jobs, you're going to say, oh, that's going to be difficult, or that's going to be overwhelming, or that's going to be bad. No, two things. Disclosure, performance. If you disclose to your employer, to your boss, what you're doing, if you have a side business with your wife, with your other partners, they know. And because they know, you're emancipated. Because if they're not going to allow you, at the very least, they're not allowing you. But the more important thing to remember is this. If it's not a conflict of interest situation and they believe that you're still doing your job well, they will allow you. So you can be free to do what you can do in your own free time, your weekends, your evenings. And these particular times of the day, you actually spend money, you don't earn. So you shift from earning, to spending, where it has to be the other way around. You have to continue the earning so that you have less time spending. Okay, now let's move to the number 2, which is very, very important as well. Performance. If you're performing on the job and you make sure you earn your keep, what's gonna stop you from doing something on the side? So very important, when you perform and you deliver better than what is expected of you, then you're more than worth the salary they're paying. And in that particular case, they will even support you with what you're doing because you're providing value to the company. So when you disclose and you perform, there's no problem in having side hustles. Now, if your side hustles now become big, they become, consistent, they become a constant, then you have to think, will my sideline become my main line? Right? So when you cross over, it's not too risky, it's not too overwhelming. You had a track record of success, which you can just continue.
Okay. While you were answering, I was trying to. I saw 3 questions from it. Kasi people know you as Rex Mendoza, big corporate guy already. What was your first side hustle when you started out? Also, kasi I'm sure people would want to know that. What did you do when you were just trying to get those first thousands or hundreds when you were starting out?
My closest friends know this, and many people today might not believe that. I was already an executive of the company. I have a Tiangue space,
Okay.
At a time in Ortigas when it's not yet in vogue, the first Christmas Tiangues, me and my wife, we were part of it. We were selling stuff that we bought from Hong Kong and China, and at some particular times, we even bought from Divisoria when we ran out of goods to sell. We did that, and then we, as I've said, we've done the dirty work. We sold, we competed, and 5 square meters of space. Would you believe in a midnight madness promo? That 5 square meters of space would sell about 55 to 60,000 pesos, right? So we did all that. We sold many other things on the side. We made sure that whether it's computers, it's hardware, it's software, we also became part of it. So all of these side hustles created a network, created momentum, and created a lot of capital base that we can use for our other investments. And the rest is history. Many people don't go back to those humbling moments. But the truth is, that's where we all started.
Okay.
That's where we all started.
Another follow-up from that though. People would normally ask, they don't have any idea on what to start. How did you formulate that this is what I want to do, that you wanted to sell in those Changies? And was there a template for it? You saw some friends that were selling, that's why you knew that, and sige, I'll try this also because my friends are making money from this. So that at least what I want to get at is, if I'm new, I don't know anything, what are the steps that I can get to at least know what I should start first?
Okay. Start with what you have interest on. Start with what you have interest on. So what got us into the Changi? My wife wanted to, buy trinkets, small stuff. I like toys. So we started with that. Very important, we had exposure. We asked friends, we had friends like Miren Ortigas, my sister-in-law was in Giftgate. We asked them about the business, and we said, we're gonna be starting small. We're not gonna be in a big shop from day one. So we started Changies. We started flea markets, and before you know it, we had 2. We had more than just one outlet. Now, more important than exposure, create momentum. You have to do something. I mean, when I get to ask people out there, how many of you want to have your own businesses? Maybe 95% of you will say yes. But let me tell you, this is the clincher question. What have you done last week to make that happen? Many people cannot answer that second question because they want to have a business, but they don't do anything about it. So create momentum. It can start with talking to a friend about the business. It can start by picking up a book and understanding a business, or maybe visiting a restaurant, the type of enterprise that you also want to start, the cuisine that you like to offer to a market. Feel the momentum. When you start spending money, when you start learning and exposing yourself and using time, there would be a point of no turning back. You'll just want to take the plunge. So if you have the exposure and you have the momentum, you will start soon. And let me wish you all the luck, because you're gonna be on your way at the very least. Right direction, first baby steps, and you're on your way to success.
Just to end, a lot of people don't start because they're scared of failure. They're scared now, what if I start the business, I lose this money, what will my friends think? They have this good concept, but the fear of starting is bigger than them actually executing. What's your words of encouragement for them?
Okay, start small, so that if ever you lose it, at the very least, you don't get completely burnt. So start small, and if you can start many small things, all the better, because maybe you'll lose 1 or 2, but gain another 1 or 2, so you're gonna be, okay. The second is, please, this is the more important side to Marvin's question. Please don't mind other people, what they're gonna say. For you, whether it's success or failure, it is always the path or the lesson to take. As I've said, even the failure is tuition. It's a tuition fee for learning, for success in the future. It's always on the right direction because you've done something. There are a lot of people out there who are not doing anything, and you already are a step ahead over and beyond them, right? So please, just get on with it, do it, and I'm so sure people like Marvin and me will always gonna be behind you. We're gonna be praying that you get blessed in these endeavors.
All right. To end, we talk always about Rampver and Soldivo, that they can use it as a platform to investing. But I want the people to know also what's the heart on why you started that already, because you were already accomplished as a CEO of multinational companies in the Philippines. Why start something that's entrepreneurship is hard. It's always glamorized, but it's also hard work. Why did you start those companies?
See, think about it. It's already something that I've done, as Marvin mentioned, in my corporate job. So I know I have the experience, I know I have the knowledge for it. So how can I now use it to get myself into a different level? Number two, value proposition. That was very important for you who are thinking of businesses out there. What's your value proposition? You see, financial services in our world today, is all proprietary. You want to go to a certain outfit, they have sellers who will sell you the company's products. But how do you evaluate the products? See, Rampver challenged that to the point where we have distribution agreements with almost all the providers. So we can now face any particular client, any one of you, and ask you, what are your priorities, what are your needs? And we can now choose from the whole breadth of the market which is the best product for you. So, which means we're not biased, we're not going to be siding with a particular carrier or particular principal. You will be at the forefront of our evaluation, of our financial planning, of our study, so that you get the best possible product that will get you to where you want to go, your investment objective. So it's that value proposition, Marvin, that keeps us going. And as I've said, now that Rampver has about over 30,000 clients, we know that we have a very, very good platform that a lot of people are taking advantage of. And then if they want to connect with us, I hope that you can provide them with some links to make sure that we can, address them and maybe talk to them and handhold them through this process.
Yeah, so don't worry guys, I'll put the links below so you get details on Rampver also. And I guess if they want to contact someone, they can, if they need advice in terms of their finances, I'll put also the link below. So that's it. So inspiring, no? It's nice to see people who are successful, but beyond the success also, what I like people to see is what happened before they got the success. And I hope you guys got inspired by this, and I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon. Bye everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.